Should popularity of a player to your fan base impact your roster decisions?
I think so to a certain extent, but yes, I definitely do. I definitely think that, especially a guy like Pete Alonso, man, they're cheering for him. Stevie Cohen was a little uneasy there, but had some great answers. But at the end of the day, I think a guy like Pete Alonso or these star players that the fans want guys back, they pay the money to come see these players. I think it does matter.
Does it matter to you in a way that if you had it your way, you see Bryce Harper, Garrett Cole, they've switched teams. Mookie Betts switched teams. You switched teams in your career.
Yeah.
Pete Alonso has now had a fan base fall in love with him. If you had your way, the Cincinnati Reds, that fan base fell in love with you. Would you have played your entire career in Cincinnati?
There's something special about playing your entire career somewhere. I really think that there is, and I would have played my entire career in Cincinnati had it not worked out that way. But I think one of the things when I look back, though, Greg, is that the 3 years I wasn't in Cincy at the end, when I was in Pittsburgh, Detroit, and Boston, were some of the best years of my career too. But if you look at the body of work, any player would love to play for one team their whole career.
One thing I'll say, I don't know if anyone in the front office of the Mets would be watching this, but since they work in baseball, I'm guessing our channel's on one of the TVs. 30 teams right now are operating like Fortune 500 companies, and they're forgetting the human aspect of what we're about. This is an entertainment business. And Pete Alonso, yes, is going to be handsomely paid with whatever team signs him. But if your fans absolutely love him, they buy his jerseys, they stop what they're doing at home and watch his at-bats, that is immense value. And we're still in the entertainment business.
I agree.
I'll never forget John Hart, longtime front office executive, said, don't ever let a star fall on you, which is don't sign a veteran player that has been a star and his worst seasons will be under your umbrella and you're going to pay him to fall on you. I understand why someone in the front office of the Mets might be apprehensive about bringing back Pete Alonso, but I will just say this one thing. I fell in love with the game because of players, okay? And I grew up in St. Louis. We all know that. Love the Cardinals. But someone asked me when Albert Pujols was a free agent, would you rather have Albert Pujols his entire career and never go to another World Series, or let Albert go, reallocate that money, and win one or two more World Series? And you know what my answer to that was without even thinking? I said, I'd rather lose with him than win without him because I love the player. I love players. And there are Mets fans that might be asking themselves right now, would I rather lose with Pete Alonso or win without him? And that is a question you have to ask yourself on your couch right now. All right.
I want rings, Greg.
You want rings?
Yeah, I want rings.
I want players, man. I want to have a favorite player, wear my jersey, and all that jazz. So, hey, speaking of Pete Alonso, he's got to be considered one of the top 100 players right now. This series is about to get kicked off next week. Sean Casey's on one of the first episodes, and Sean has time to sway our research department, give them the criteria they should use to put the list together. That's next. That's with me here on MLB Tonight. So here's where I want to go. Since the show is on Thursday night, we've got time to change the list. We do not know the list. We have no idea who's on the list. But we have a research department made up of some of the smartest people in the world. Yep. At least they remind us that they are.
They are.
And they work hard to put this list together. So I just was texting with some of the people that are in our research department about what attributes they consider. And what I want to do is read off some of these attributes, and then I want you to hone into the 5 most. Okay. Like if you were going to put a list together of the top 100 players, these would be the 5 most important things. Here are just some of the things that they texted me. Prospect rank, projection, career accolades, defensive prowess or lack thereof, starting pitching dominance, hence strikeouts, reliever dominance, power at the plate, batting average, durability, 2024 season performance, the last 3 years performance, 2024 postseason performance, position change, base running, and age. A lot of things.
There's a lot of stuff going on there, yeah.
So if you were going to talk about 5 of those attributes, where would you be?
Well, if you're talking about the top 100 right now, you got to start with what's going on right now. How did you do in 2024? Your performance in 2024.
That's the most important
season performance. I think so. I think it matters. What are you doing right now? How do you look? How are you aging? All that stuff. So that the performance.
More than the last 3 years?
For this list, yes.
Really?
This list, I think yes.
Even though we've seen flash in the pans before. Guys have had a great breakout year.
It's top 100 right now, not top 100 3 years ago and 2 years ago.
I like that. That's honesty. Okay. So it's 2024 performance. Give me another attribute that you want our research department to consider when putting this list together.
projection. I think you have to look at some of the guys that might have come up, like a James Wood. That's exactly what I was thinking of. I don't know if he's on the top 100, but I have to think he is for the projection of what he looks like and how good he is. Just a lot of the young kids, a Jackson Holiday, a Jared Jones. I mean, some of these guys that are young kids, Pete Crow Armstrong, you have to project and look at these guys and go, wow, this guy's a chance to be one of the top in the game.
So even though they haven't put it together for a full 162, you're okay with that if you believe in the talent and you're projecting that they will do it this year?
Yes. They've put together enough for me to go, there's going to be a huge year this year.
Okay, so we've got 2024 performance. We've got projection. Give me another attribute.
I think durability is a big one. Are you playing games? Are you out there, are you getting 140-plus games? Because that means you're putting up numbers. So I think durability is a big thing. I mean, obviously, when you're talking about players right now, I think durability is a skill. Being able to be in the game. Marcus Semien banged up a little bit, plays every day. Pete Alonso played 162 last year. Matt Olson plays close to 162 every single year. I mean, these guys that are out there doing it night in and night out, they get an extra check mark from me.
So there's got to be a flip side to that, right? So Byron Buxton's going to get penalized, right? Tyler Glasnow is going to get penalized.
Yeah.
There are players that have an issue. They're immensely talented.
They can't stay healthy.
And it's hard to project that they will be durable if they don't have the track record of it.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so durability, 2024 performance, projection, give me another attribute.
You know what? I put this one in there because you and I had talked about it a few years ago when Joey Galloway was hitting below 200. I like the batting average shows me as a player that is out there every day. Obviously, it doesn't have to be Luis Ariz, but a batting average shows me consistency. How consistent are you out there? I mean, like I said, when I look at some of the best players in the game, when you talk about, your Aaron Judges and Ohtani, these guys, they're all hitting close to 300. I'm not saying, obviously, every top 100 guy is going to do that, but you have to have a respectable batting average to be on the top 100 list. You can't just be hitting a $180 with some home runs and they go, hey, he's hitting a $180.
I have a feeling you're going to be upset with the first installment. I don't know the list, but just based on the way the young people that work in our research department view it, they are very current. And how front offices view analytics and certain metrics, I don't know if they're going to drink this Kool-Aid.
They're probably not. But I tell you what, if batting average shows you how consistent you are night in and night out.
Put some ice in that Kool-Aid. I'll drink all that. I love a good batting average. All right, give me one more attribute that you really hope our research department.
You got to have the mix. You got to have a decent batting average, and you got to hit for power. For the guys that are on the list that are the bats, you got to have big time power. You got to be a run producer, and I think for the pitchers, I put it in there too. Like power. You got to have power. The power arms are the guys that are going to be in this top 100. There's no doubt about it. So you talk about the pitchers and the hitters, both of the power people will be in this top 100.
They will be, or you want them to be?
I want them to be.
Okay.
I want them to be.
All right.
Because I feel like the power elevates you to be one of the top players in the game.
All right.
And that's what the stat guys want, and that's what the people want, Greg.
Yeah, everyone likes to watch a homer. Other than me, by the way. Give me a 1-0 shutout or a guy stole home any day of the week. That would be my perfect baseball game.
Nah.
Yes. What are you talking?
Give me it every once in a while.
This guy.
Give me this guy hitting bombs every night.
This guy wears many hats. He's on shows all over. Strength coach. My mental strength coach, I've been told, is Dr. Sean Casey. Welcome back, everyone. We're going to play pretend because this close to spring training can be a grind mentally for certain players who struggled. We're going to walk you through some of the exercises to get over the hump. I'm going to play pretend that I'm a center fielder 2 years into the big leagues. Last year, I really struggled, and I'm meeting for the first time 2 weeks before spring training with my mental strength coach, and that would be Dr. Sean Casey. So here we go. Dr. Greg Amsinger, very nice to meet you.
Hey, welcome, Greg. Come on in.
Thanks for getting me in.
It's great
I know you've got a lot of...
Great to have you here, man.
So this is odd. Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
I don't even know why I need a mental strength coach.
That's what everybody says, right? I mean, 90% of this game is mental, Greg. 90% is mental. And this is going to be the most important conversation you have, more important than your hitting coach, more important than any other coach you have.
Really?
Yes, because I'm your game time coach. I'm the guy that's going to get your mind right when you're in the batter's box, because guess what? When you're in this batter's box, Greg, no one can help you but yourself. I'm going to get your thoughts aligned with what you're going to need during the game.
Well, I got to be honest with you. We're 2 weeks away, I'm actually nervous. I'm scrambling. I'm taking 400 swings a day, but I'm nervous for spring training, Doc. I am.
That's great, man. That's great, because the best part about being nervous is the same part of your brain that says you're nervous is the same part of your brain that says you're excited. So what I want you to do is change your perspective. Change your perspective on how you see things. As human beings, we make up stories all the time. Usually one that serves us, one that doesn't serve us. I want you to have a story that serves you. So when you come to spring training, I mean, you're excited to be there. You're fired up. Let's go.
So what you're saying is I'm telling myself a negative story that I'm nervous for spring training right now.
Yes, you are.
Not telling myself that story.
It's your choice. Your perspective is your choice. And what I want you to do is I want you to say, I'm excited for spring training.
But how can I be excited when I break into the big leagues 2 years ago? I'm the starting center fielder. I have one bad year. They signed a free agent center fielder. So now I feel like I lost my starting spot, and I might not even make the roster. How am I supposed to be excited?
You know what? You should be excited because anyone else doesn't matter. That's just a distraction. You're thinking about other players or what other guys are doing. Comparisons to death and contentment. At the end of the day, you got to lock in. This is the you versus you game, Greg. I need you to become the best version of yourself. I need you to breathe at an elite level, just like a couple guys that I love that do that. Bobby Witt Jr. and Bryce Harper.
Oh, wow.
Two guys that breathe at an elite level. You know why they do that, Greg? Because it gets them into the moment. It slows things down. It gets them present moment focused.
So here's Bobby Witt. You're telling me he breathes at an elite level?
Every pitch, look at that right there. Every pitch he breathes to reset the moment. The moment never gets too big, and that's all you need to do. Bryce Harper does an incredible job too. Focal point breathing. They look at the bat, they slow down, they get in the moment. And then after you get your breath, it sets your state. Now you can compete, right? Now I want you to get your three self-talk statements at another level, right? The you versus you mentality. How good can you talk to yourself and how good can you breathe? There's going to be everything come game time.
Why do I need to change my state if I'm in the batter's box, though? Like, is there something about that moment that could be overwhelming?
Well, here's one of the biggest things, with changing your state. Your central nervous system works in two states. Your sympathetic nervous system, which means that you're in the fight, flight, or freeze, right? You're scared, and most of the time you're in that. It's shallow breathing. You want to get a good breath going so you can get to the parasympathetic, which I like to say, throw yourself a parachute. If you're coming out of that plane, throw yourself a parachute where now it's rest, digest, slow, relax. If you can get your body into that state, Greg, you're going to perform at such an elite level because you know why? It turns your vision on. And when you turn your vision on, your eyes are connected to your brain. When you turn your vision on, now I'm ready to go and I'm ready to compete at an elite level.
That sounds all fun and good, Doc. It really does. But when I'm sitting at home on my couch watching the World Series and I see Freddie Freeman with a bum ankle in the biggest moment in baseball and the World Series, looking calm, cool, and collected, hitting this grand slam, I'm just sitting there at home going, there's just no way I can handle pressure at that level. I just can't envision myself handling pressure like that at that level.
I love that word pressure, Greg. I love that word pressure. That's why I'm one of the best. I am the coach for you because I want you to look at pressure as this. Pressure is an invention of an undisciplined mind.
Wait, say that one more time.
Pressure is an invention of an undisciplined mind. All that means is that you're making something up. Pressure, if you're prepared and you have a good process, like I talked about, what's your breathing look like? What's your self-talk look like? If you can do that at an elite level, pressure really doesn't even exist. Let me show you what Freddie said after that home run.
We saw Nestor start coming in the game, and I started going over, his pitches, and I watched his at-bats against Shohei. Not my own. I watched his at-bats against Shohei. And I just saw a lot of cutters and sliders away and heaters.
Why Shohei and not your own?
I don't know, just because I wanted to see how he went against Shohei. And when Shohei walks into the box, your back's against the wall. So in that situation, your back is going to be against the wall. So I wanted to see how he was going to attack Shohei. So I was just watching his at-bats. And it was cutters and sliders away with heaters up. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to look a little closer, which is not what I normally do. I'm trying to look out over and hit line drives at shortstop. But I was like, you know what, I'm going to be on time for this heater. I'm going to be on top of the heater, and I'm going to look a little closer so I don't swing at
And I'm going to be the hero.
I wasn't thinking that. I was just trying to get a base hit to score those 2 runs. But I was just looking closer because I I wanted to just be able to check off the cutter and slider away. And he threw it right in the lane I was looking in, thankfully. But I was just trying to be on top of the heater and on time because I was getting a lot of heaters from like Weaver, and I was just missing them. And I just wanted to be on time and give myself the best chance. And I had a plan and approach, and usually when you have those, good things happen usually.
He had a plan and an approach.
So good, right?
That's amazing.
So good. His preparation, watching film on Nestor Cortez with Ohtani versus lefties, right? His preparation visually was so good. The protocol was be on time, be on top, right? So that's why preparation plus protocol is always greater than pressure. I think that's one of the biggest things. Did you hear him say, Greg, at all that he was so excited to get that hit the big grand slam?
No.
Did you hear him say anything about my dad was right behind the plate in the front row? I'm so excited he threw me all those balls when I was growing up.
No.
Did you hear him say that this could be one of the biggest moments of my career? I hope I come through.
Not at all.
No, he didn't. You know why he didn't? Because he was locked in to what he needed to do. He was locked into his protocol, his approach, and his plan was get a good deep breath, be on time for the heater, get on top of the baseball, and hunt it a little bit in, and push out the cutter and the slider. It was incredible, and that's why pressure is always an invention of an undisciplined mind.
Unbelievable. So Doc, before I go, this has been an incredible conversation. What should my mindset be for day one of spring training when I walk into the clubhouse?
Day one of spring training, when you walk in that clubhouse, I want you to be aggressive, and I want you to have the bring it on mentality. The best players in the game have the bring it on mentality. I want to tell you a quick story, Greg. When I was the hitting coach in 2023 for the New York Yankees, we're out in Baltimore. Anthony Volpe had a nice game, but nothing to show for it. What a great process he had. He was slow. He was hit 4 rockets. And I was in the dugout standing next to Aaron Judge, and I said, the best player on the planet. And I said, hey, Judgey, man, this game is relentless at times. It comes for you every night. Even when you do everything perfect, you still fail. And you know what he looked at me, Greg? You know what he said? You're right, Case. This game is relentless. Bring it on.
Oh, my goodness.
And when he said that to me, I said, that's an elite mindset. That's a guy that's prepared. That's a guy that knows where he's going when this game gets tough and it gets relentless and it comes for you all the time. That bring it on mentality. Stay aggressive. I'm coming back for you. This game's coming for me. I'm coming right back for you.
I'm ready for spring training now. Woo! Man, we all need a mental strength coach. Thank you, Doc.
It'll be a great year for you, Greg.
2024シーズンの MLB、いよいよ本番を迎える。これまでの議論を振り返ると、改めて野球が単なるスポーツではなく、ファンと選手が一緒に作り上げる場であることを強く実感する。今日のテーマであったピート・アロンソの去就問題、トップ100選手の基準、そしてメンタルの重要性について掘り下げてきたが、どの話題も野球というスポーツが持つ奥深さを象徴している。まず、ファンの支持がチームのロスター決定にどれほど影響を与えるべきかという問題。球団経営者は、オリ貢献度や出塁率長打率などの指標をもとに選手の価値を判断するが、それだけでは測れないスター選手としての価値が不実に存在する。ピート・アロンソは、メッツの顔ともいえる存在であり、彼の打撃スピードと本塁打の飛距離はもちろん、ファンにとっての精神的支柱でもある。彼のような選手が放出されるとなると、多くのファンが彼なしでは勝っても意味がないと感じるのも無理はない。ここで問われるのは、勝利こそが全てなのか、それともスター選手との絆を優先すべきかという永遠のテーマだ。現代の球団は統計分析を駆使し、最適な戦力配置を考えている。しかし、ファンの視点からすれば、数字以上に大切なものがある。アルバート・プホルスがカージナルスを去ったとき、多くのファンが悲しみを覚えたが、彼が復帰した際のあの歓声を思い出してほしい。チームとファンが一体となることで生まれる熱狂は、単なる指標以上の価値を持つのだ。次に、トップ100選手の基準についての議論も非常に興味深かった。2024年シーズンの打撃成績が最も重要なのか、それとも選手の将来性やパワー能力打撃力投手の球威を重視すべきなのか。この問題に正解はないが、現代 MLB では 打球速度、バレルオンに入った打球率、回転数など、より精緻なデータが用いられるようになった。ショーン・ケイシーが指摘したように、選手の耐久性も重要な要素だ。例えば、マーカス・ミエンはシーズン162試合に出場し続けることで、その価値を証明している。一方で、バイロン・バクストンのように総合守備力ではトップクラスの選手でも、故障が多い場合は評価が難しい。チームにとってシーズンを通じて貢献できる選手の存在は非常に大きい。また、打率の重要性についての議論も印象的だった。近年、出塁率、長打率や得点創出能力のような指標がより重視されるようになったが、それでも打率は選手の安定性を示す重要な要素だ。上位ギャロのように純粋な長打力では高い数値を持つものの、打率が1割台の選手がどこまでトップ100に入るべきかは意見が分かれるところだ。一方で、ルイス・アラエスのような純粋なヒットメーカーの価値も依然として高い。そして何より、メンタルの重要性についての話は、プロ野球選手に限らず、日常生活にも通じる普遍的なテーマだった。ブライス・ハーパーやボビー・ウィット・ジュニアのように、試合中に焦点呼吸法を実践する選手は、極限のプレッシャーの中でも冷静さを保つことができる。フレディ・フリーマンのワールドシリーズでの満塁本塁打の場面も、彼のメンタルの強さがなければ成し得なかったプレーだった。ショーン・ケイシーが語ったプレッシャーとは、未熟な精神が作り出す幻想であるという言葉が印象的だったが、これは野球だけでなく、仕事や人生のあらゆる場面にも当てはまる。適切な準備とルーチンがあれば、プレッシャーは消え去り、選手は最大限のパフォーマンスを発揮できる。フレディ・フリーマンが打席で取った冷静なアプローチこそ、成功するための秘訣なのだ。さて、ここまで話してきたが、皆さんの意見もぜひ聞きたい。ピート・アロンソはメッツに残るべきか、それとも球団の未来を考えれば放出すべきなのか。トップ100ランキングには誰が入るべきで、誰が過小評価されているのか。そしてメンタルの重要性について、野球以外のどんな場面で活かせると思うか。コメント欄であなたの考えを聞かせてほしい。議論を盛り上げることで、さらに深く野球を楽しむことができるはずだ。MLB のシーズンはこれからが本番だ。これからも選手たちの熱い戦いを追いかけ、みんなで語り合おう。チャンネル登録をして、最新の MLB 情報を見逃さないように。次回の動画でまたお会いしよう。それでは、プレイボール。